It's pretty appropriate that Bob Marley and Colorado are on the same team, considering the marijuana laws that just passed in Colorado legalizing pot. So perhaps that's a little joke there, but I
Uh,
don't know. We'll
it does
have
set
to
up
ask the
that
team there.
partnership, that law being passed there. So, meanwhile, and I will bait you. They do pick up that Sona pick and that Misfortune pick. So, um, interesting because Chippa on J4, that Cataclysm will set up a nice little, almost like a target practice for Papa Crank to just unleash that bullet time. So, um, meanwhile, as it stands, FaZe Clan just hovering over a few champs right now, so let's see what they end up deciding. And Bob Marley does decide to play Twitch.
That Twitch is something that we haven't seen yet tonight. Twitch could be a really powerful ad carry, provided he does have the front line to be able to um, keep him healthy and keep him, from getting dove on. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of dive coming up from the purple team yet. J4 does have the ability to dive, but there's enough crowd control to avoid that. Renekton can dive as well, but after he uses his slice and dice, he doesn't really have the ability to dive any further. So it looks like they do have quite a bit of CC with Diana, Rise, Leona, and Zach. It'll just be a matter of positioning and being able to really get Twitch in a position where he can just unleash his spray and pray and all of that damage, just go across the entire purple team.
Yeah, and yeah, great point by Twitch needing that front line, and just because Twitch is one of like the slowest moving AD carries that are available in the game, so he does need that protection. He does have that stealth ability, but it does take a little bit of time for it to go into, and it's not the most reliable of escapes. So, so judging by that team comp that FaZe Clan has decided to go, I say that is a pretty sturdy front line for I Will Bait You to get through to Twitch for. And as it stands, Little Asian Dude does lock in Oriana to round out the rest of I Will Bait You's team comp. So, just looking at these two team comps, who do you think has that early game advantage in the lane?
So I would actually give, in the bottom lane, I would give the early game advantage to Misfortune and Leona. So the Lemonish and Papa Kank would probably do very well because Twitch is really, really squishy, and they both have quite a bit of poke. So if he doesn't position all that well, it's going to be really tough for him to turn around and do a bunch of damage, even with that Leona to lock them down. Leona will be able to stop most dives that try to go onto Twitch initially in the bot lane, but that poke coming out can be really, really tough, especially if Misfortune uses that double up very effectively, where she can hit a minion and then it will jump back to hit that Twitch.
Right. And I'm just noticing FaZe Clan's team comp, they're almost all in. It's pretty much an all-in engagement, hard engagement here, because and that leaves very little room for disengagement. So look to see FaZe Clan just be super aggressive when they are confident in the team fights. But if they are on the downward spiral and they are behind, they're going to have a hard time coming back, because if they are behind, their hard engagement team style comp is just not going to work in their favor, because they will not be able to just get the kills that they need despite having such a hard aggressive team comp.
Yeah, I mean, I think that either one of these teams has the potential to steamroll pretty well. Diana, especially in my mind, has the ability to just absolutely steamroll. But, either team, if they get a slight advantage, they can pull it in, to the win. I wouldn't say that one team has a specific advantage over the other team late game. They both have pros and cons. Diana, will get she'll be pretty tanky with that shield, but she'll also be able to assassinate whoever she jumps on, as well as Rise just being able to build tanky and still just kind of be a cannon of damage, especially if he builds a little bit of CDR and some resists on himself, which he usually does because his passive allows us to just build essentially mana and get damage off of that.
Right. Yes. Rise is just one of the very few AP champions that also can almost double as like an off tank, because of just the way his skill set just allows him to, just forces him to build lots of mana and stuff like that. So
So I actually think there's a couple of comments and questions coming out in the chat, and I wanted to bring that up before we actually got into game. The one that stands out the most to me is there's people who are asking how you sign up for competitive league. I do not know the answer to that. Do you happen to know how you sign up for competitive league, or sorry, not competitive league, compete league? And if you don't know, is there somebody we can talk to so we can let the people in the chat know about that?
Oh, absolutely. Definitely you can sign up via the site itself, www.competeleague.com. It's pretty simple there. And yeah, there's bronze and silver tournaments. There's also 1v1 tournaments with amazing prize pools. I hear the the winner of the 1v1 tournament will get a $50 RP prize. So although these bronze and silver tournaments do not have prize pools, unfortunately, we are looking forward to get more sponsors in the future, and there will be. We're desperately trying to find some prizes. So, and I can guarantee you that there should be some in the future. But speaking of the game right now, the delay is just about done. The champions are loading in, so the team comps as they stand are pretty locked in place. The summoners, we can discuss those right now. So, FaZe Clan. I'm just waiting for the load screen real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat, so now, hopefully it doesn't glitch out like it did last time.
Oh, it nearly did. A window popped up, but okay. So for FaZe Clan, we have Colorado playing Zach, Stan Marsh on Leona, Zuko on Rise, Bob Marley playing Twitch, and the Enjo playing Diana.
Okay, and then for I Will Bait You, which is the red team, we have Renekton, which is being played by Spectus. We have Chippa on J4. We have the Lemonish on Sona. We have Papa Kank on Misfortune, and Little Asian Dude on Oriana. So it looks like the red team, I Will Bait You, will likely have the early game here, but I'm really going to give the late game to FaZe Clan. Twitch with his, with his expunge fully stacked, as well as that his spray and pray can just throw out tons of damage, and the rest of his team has the ability to assassinate whoever's low after Twitch lays down, or even during Twitch laying down that damage on the entire team. So early game, in my opinion, goes to I Will Bait You. Late game going to FaZe Clan.
Great points also, but yeah, I Will Bait You looking to go for that R button composition. They do have, as stated before, Jarvan's Cataclysm setting up like a shooting range for Misfortune to unleash a bullet time, and combine that with Sona's Crescendo and also Little Asian Dude's Command Shockwave. If they time their team fights right and coordinate their ultimates, they can really make a huge showing and just evaporate anyone that is caught in those ultimates. So look forward to see how they play this out, and FaZe Clan should spread out due to those types of the team comp that they're going against.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see exactly what goes down here. I think it will really come down to the skill of the individual players at their strong points in this game. So, but however, I will say Twitch is squishy, and he will be squishy for the entire game. Once Oriana gets a little bit of AP, one command Shockwave will be able to just melt and erase Twitch from this map. And so even if the red team on I Will Bait You on the red team, even if they get behind, one Shockwave on that Twitch could absolutely change the course of this game.
And as we see here, some interesting level 1 coming up here. FaZe is going to sneak through to the blue buff, but they did not see them go through that. But they're sitting in the bush just waiting. Neither team knows where the other is right now, and they're totally grouped right now. They're waiting for one lowly straggler from either team to just walk out so they can just pounce on them for that quick first blood, because whoever gets that first blood will definitely get an advantage, obviously, and it will definitely work in their favor for their respective team comps.
This is actually really, really tense. I think both teams wanting to go for the invade, but on opposite buffs,
right,
which ends up being on the same side of that map. And I think that I Will Bait You is actually looking to catch somebody out, throwing around that Oriana ball to get a little bit of vision. But in all reality, they're not really going to catch anybody because the blue team on FaZe Clan is just waiting for that late invade on the blue buff, and they're hoping to catch somebody out here, but they're going to be a little bit disappointed when nobody's there. So
Yep.
they're just both going to take each other's buffs, essentially.
So they put down a full 3-minute one on the blue buff just to see how basically the jungler reacts when they finds out that his blue buff is taken. But little Asian dude does see the Enjo walk through, and he gets poking him in the back a little bit before he gets to the lane.
Yeah, and that second auto attack on Orianna is the one that does the damage. Her passive makes it so that when she does that second auto attack, it does do extra damage. But Chippa walking through the lane there with the red buff, so they will know that the red buff has been stolen away at this point. And Colorado actually just walking by those little 2 minions and realizing that they've been stolen and just going to clear them out there.
And Papa Kank actually getting to the lane a little bit late. He did walk up to the blue buff to finish clearing those creeps, and in essence, he's gonna miss out on that EXP. Twitch will get that level 2 before him, and that is not a good sign because Stan Marsh will pounce on Papa Kank as soon as he gets level 2 as well.
Yeah, so Bob Marley's actually reached level 2 before Papa Kank, and it looks like they're going
Engage
for an
goes
engage
on
here.
it. The Zenith Blade lands perfectly. The Exhaust Font comes out, and the Expunge just completely obliterates Papa Kank for that first blood. And if I will bait you right now, that is not the person you want to get fed. I mean, everyone on the team is definitely prone to snowballing, but Twitch, out of all people, will tear your entire team up with spray and pray in the future.
You know, and that was just a matter of Misfortune not poking Twitch and Twitch poking Misfortune. Misfortune, you know, really has to make use of that double up to get some damage down onto Twitch. Twitch is naturally very squishy, but he did start Doran's Blade. So that gives him a little bit of extra health, whereas Misfortune started Longsword and 2 pots, which means that, you know, she had a lot more sustain than that Twitch. And so, you know, those 2 pots plus Sona means that you can trade a little bit. But she just didn't trade it all with that Twitch, and then Leona and Bob Marley both hit level 2 and just dove on her, and you know, her being squishy just made it so that she crumbled under that engage.
And some engages going on in mid as Enjo pulls in the Asian dude, but the Asian dude is being steadfast and confident, and actually ends up with a tiny bit more HP than the Enjo, even though she got the starting jump on her.
Yeah, it's really that well, actually, it looks like they're going in for another engage.
And actually forces the flash out. The Ignite does go down. Command Protect. Will it be enough? No, it's not enough. And the Enjo picks up the second kill for FaZe Clan here.
So FaZe Clan coming out to an early lead. They're about 1,000 gold up at this point. Each lane is... Actually, that's not true. Up in the top lane, Renekton's actually farming better than the Rise. And in the mid lane, it looks like we have Orianna, which has about even farm with that Diana. And down in the bot lane, you know, there's pretty much dead even there.
Yeah.
So the farm not really a big point or a big aspect of the game at this point, especially since there's no significant leads. The biggest gap being up there in the top lane.
Yeah, and actually Papa Kank catching up in CS despite losing that first blood. But I mean, Bob Marley surely has the wave pushing towards him, so he will continue to get that lead. But good job by Papa Kank to just keep up on the CS as best as he can despite dying there.
Yeah, and the damage coming out from the Twitch poison is really a lot, and Papa Kank's just very afraid. He did get all in, and so he's very nervous of that Leona, and the Leona was standing in the bush for so long that they did actually signal a Mia down in the bot lane when there wasn't actually anybody Mia. Sona wisely going and putting a ward in that tri-bush as Zach is trying to make his way around to get a gank, but looks like he'll just give up, and now that he knows that the ward's there, there's no point in him trying to come around and gank that bot lane.
Yeah, meanwhile, top lane, Chippa's sneaking through for a lane gank. We haven't seen too many of these in the Compete League or today for that matter, but let's see if Zuko just extends a little bit too far out enough for a Demacian Standard and Dragon Strike combo, but he's hanging towards the bottom side. He has no wards, so he's really, he could be very vulnerable here as he's stepping in range.
And he, like you said, he doesn't have wards. He goes and puts a ward down, so now he thinks he's safe.
Now he's got that false sense of security. Chippa's just waiting for the right moment, giving Expectus as much time. Zuko really has no idea. Now comes the engage. The Demacian standard falls short, and the knockup was not successful. And they do manage to get the flash out, but you gotta land that knockup, or else that was really a lot of time wasted for Chippa there up top.
Yeah, and one of the things that also happened was once the red minion wave died, Expectus dove in to try to make something happen there. But if he had waited for the wave to push up a little bit, I mean, Zuko had just warded. He thought he was safe. So if you had waited for the wave to push a little bit more, then perhaps he would have been farther in the lane, so Flash wouldn't have made big of a difference. But it looks like we have an engage in the middle.
Shockwave goes down on the Enjo after Chippa comes in, and she is going to get taken down by Colorado. What a great time by Zach to show up, just saving the Enjo from imminent danger there from the gank that I Will Bait You had the one up on.
Yeah, and that was just a matter of Orianna not having her flash up and Diana having that flash up. There wasn't quite enough damage that went down for Diana to fall, but, you know, auto attacks from Chippa would have been able to take her out if she didn't have that flash up. But the flash saved that Diana, so the kills overall now are 3-0 in favor of FaZe Clan. And they're taking an early lead in this game. They're up about 2K in gold.
Colorado just stole Chippa's blue buff, and he just got Let's Bounce from that. So Chippa sees this. He sees him coming up, but I don't know if he's going to engage. He's just going to ward it, but he quickly has to get out of there because the Enjo is creeping up. And the Enjo does have his ulti as well. So, yeah, definitely a huge hit to I Will Bait You, losing that blue buff, experience, and the buff itself.
Yeah, it looks like I Will Bait You is on their heels a little bit here. They're feeling like after the first couple of kills, they're feeling a little bit hesitant with their champs. They're playing the game like they're behind, which they are, but they're not really behind enough to warrant, you know, just extreme passive playing like they're doing right now. It's almost like they're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. You know, they're all playing really hesitant. They're just trying not to die. Whereas I think that they should be trying to make plays on the, on the team to try to pull themselves back into this game. Because at this point, they're playing even essentially, and so they won't get back any of that gold lead that they've lost, but rather they'll just either have that gap stay the same or even lose a little bit more gold in this.
Yeah, and just a great job by Stan Marsh on Leona here, just zoning out the entire bot lane here just by being in the bush, because the Lemons does not have any wards, but he does get that Zenith Blade on. The stun does go down. Expunge and Barrier goes down. The ulti just misses, but Bob Marley flashes to get that last expunge on Papa Kank.
Yeah, the ulti not stunning up that misfortune, but the ulti does slow her down enough so that Bob Marley can come in and get that kill on Papa King. And after that, they're going to be going for the dragon. And
the dragon is going to be very hard to contest, as it's going to be a 4v3 down here with Papa King going down just moments ago. So it's going to be a dragon, the first dragon for the FaZe Clan 10 minutes in, extending their lead to 4K just 10 minutes in.
Yeah, and it should also be noted, Papa Kank has now fallen 20 CS behind, and in that fight, there was a huge mismatch in damage. Twitch had picked up a BF sword, whereas Papa Kank... Actually, I'll finish that thought after you talk about this fight in the mid lane.
The end show just goes on the little Asian dude. I was just watching the Twitch and just, yeah, I totally missed that fight. My apologies there, but little Asian dude does go down to the Enjo and the Colorado gank in mid. The Colorado did use the Let's Bounce there, and the Enjo got a great engagement on there and just was able to get the resets for his ulti.
Yeah, and that may have been the blue buff there, helping him with his cooldowns. But I guess blue buff has run out now, so anyway. Down in the bot lane, we do have Papa Kank picking up a BF sword, so essentially the damage coming out from Papa Kank and Twitch will be equal according to items. However, Papa Kank's still afraid to poke at that Twitch. He's afraid of that all-in from Leona, which up to this point has been extremely successful in keeping Papa Kank down. So he's essentially conceding CS and allowing a larger gold gap to exist between him and Twitch.
Absolutely, and it seems that I Will Bait You will have to just ride on the shoulders of Expectus up top because Expectus is the only one really that's winning his lane at the moment. So, and Renekton just is having his way up top because Rise cannot afford to use all his mana on harassing Renekton because he has that sustain and he needs to farm as well.
Yeah, Expectus on Renekton can actually carry a team, assuming that the rest of his team can, you know.
The engage does go on Chippa as he just gets that combo over the wall. He was, if he'd missed that cliff by just a little bit, he would have been in imminent doom.
And that was very dangerous for him as well. He just barely had enough mana to do that Dragon Strike after he threw down his standards. So almost didn't make it out of that one. And it looks
flash
like
engagement going on the Little Asian Dude. He does not get the pull in, but Little Asian Dude just barely dodging that elastic slingshot. Even though he was in his tower, he decided to jump in there.
Yeah, it looks like Little Asian Dude is really on his heels as well. Colorado not afraid to just jump in there and be like, hey, guess what? I'm here. How's it going?
So the flash was burned for both mid laners now, but the Little Asian Dude still has his command shockwave. He can afford to just hang around the lane, but he really cannot peer out too much, or else the Enjo will not hesitate in going in on him. And Expectus is actually creeping up in mid, but the pings are flying rampantly on mid, having Expectus walk through that ward through there.
Yeah, and it looks like the Enjo will have to make a choice here. But with Jarvan showing himself and her laughing, it looks like she's just taunting them, saying, I know you're there, and nothing's going to come of it.
So I noticed also that Little Asian Dude did opt to go for that early Negatron cloak. Even though he has the Chalice of Harmony already for a little bit of magic resist, he is really fearing this this Diana right now. Yeah,
and it looks like Leona just doing a great job of zoning, and the rest of the members of FaZe Clan are coming in to try to
Marsh engages in on the Asian Dude, but the teleport is coming down from Zuko. They got to get out of there. The command shockwave goes down, but there's no one to finish up the fight as it's a 3-0 exchange, but 4-0 exchange with a triple kill coming out for Zuko. And you gotta think that was worth it for Zuko to go down there, Sana.
Oh, of course. He got 3 kills out of that engage. He's getting pretty bullied in lane, and so his farm is significantly less than that of Expectus, but teleporting in and getting those 3 kills, even though they're going to give up a tower, for him he got 3 kills, and I didn't see who got the 4th kill there, but an overall 4-0 exchange, and they traded tower. I mean, no doubt in my mind that's worth it, especially since Zuko came away with that, with the blue buff.
Right, and actually Expectus can't finish his tower as the minion waves crumble on his side, and Colorado shows up to just stop any further aggression. But FaZe Clan does get the middle tower also on top of that 4-0 exchange. So, what can the I Will Bait You do to really, come back into this game and even win this, Sana?
So at this point, FaZe Clan really isn't doing a whole lot that would make it so that they could lose this. They're not invading heavily in the jungle. They're not really, going out too far. And just as I said, that Diana's going to try to steal this red buff.
Oh, she just barely missed it, but almost came away with it there.
Yeah, the smite not coming out from that J4, which makes me think he's saving it for something else. But, I mean, in all reality, the only way that they're going to win this is if they ward out heavily and they catch somebody out. I don't think that they can fight a 5v5 or even, another even team fight like a 2v2 or a 3v3. They really just have to catch somebody out because each individual person on FaZe Clan is stronger than their respective individual on I Will Bait You at this point. They have bigger items, they have more farm, they have more gold, they have more objectives. So I don't know if they can win a fight just straight up. They really have to catch somebody out here.
And it just seems everywhere Chippa goes, he is just encountering boards that he's not aware about, and thus making his presence ineffective. And having seen that, Diana is moving around the map. He saw that Little Asian Dude has left the lane, but she has showed at bottom. Maybe they're going to try and take the tower here on FaZe Clan side.
Yeah, I think at this point they are trying to push those objectives, and now would be a really good time for them to push that objective because the members of FaZe Clan are not around. However, they are a little bit nervous because they don't see 4 members of FaZe Clan, and they are collapsing on bottom tower there. So they are a little bit out of position, and it looks like somebody, little Asian dude, might get caught out here.
The Enjo is moving up. He sees that little Asian dude might be alone, and he's going to try and take him out, but he doesn't know that Chippa is just walking right around the corner, and now she does know. Does get the knockup, but he goes right into the heart of the team where Leona's there, but she's going to go straight back onto the little Asian dude. Cataclysm comes down, and the Shockwave comes down a little bit too late, and then the bullet time. All their cooldowns are just segmented, and they're unable to coordinate that, and it ends up being yet another 4-0 exchange, Sana.
Yeah, this is a very, very tough game for I Will Bait You. They thought that they had the advantage there, not knowing that there were 4 members of FaZe Clan down in that dragon area. So when Jarvan jumped in there, he overcommitted to that fight, and the rest of his team followed him. Unfortunately for them, they thought that the bullet time would be able to save them, but bullet time with only a BF sword and a vampiric scepter doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage, and Leona stopped it with her Zenith Blade Ender Stun and it exhausts. So in addition to it not doing very much damage, it did almost no damage because it was stopped early and Miss Fortune was exhausted at the time. So really great fight for FaZe Clan, and I Will Bait You is just trying their best to come back into this game, but they're just a little bit too far behind to engage, even in a 4v4 fight.
Yeah, and just as you say that, the gold lead just barely reaching over almost 10k lead, and it's not even 20 minutes in, so I Will Bait You are really going to need to play it safe, try and catch someone out as you said, but they're not having any luck. The warding from coming out from FaZe Clan has just been immaculate so far.
Yeah, and compare that to the warding from I Will Bait You. I mean, let's count the number of wards on the map. There are, it looks like, 3 wards from I Will Bait You, none of which are in position to tell them where members of FaZe Clan are. I mean, they're all in an advanced position in that bot lane, but they're pushed back way in their turret.
And the Enjo's going to creep up on the little Asian dude again. The elastic slingshot, he flashes, but is still engaged on due to getting caught out by that that elastic slingshot knockup. So that's going to result in yet another tower going down for I Will Bait You, and it's just things are not going their way right now, and they're just expanding on every single advantage FaZe Clan is.
Yeah. And it's really tough for them too, because at this point FaZe Clan is grouping and traveling in packs of 1, or sorry, not in packs of 1.
And the Enjo jumps in the middle of the team despite being in the tower range, but she does flash out even though he got exhaust right in the tower, but the Cataclysm trapped him in. He still manages to escape, and Expect is able to finally pick up the very first kill for I Will Bait You and getting the shutdown kill on the Enjo there. So Rannington the Savior is really living up to his name, and they're really going to need to piggyback off of him.
Yeah, unfortunately though, because he left, Rise was able to get that top lane turret. So 150 gold times 5 people equals more than the 500 gold shutdown that they received for the Diana kill. And so yes, it was good that he got the Diana kill, but overall advantage still goes to the FaZe Clan in that fight, considering that top lane did go down.
Yeah, and you can see even though they got that shutdown kill, that they are still down almost 13k now at this point after having that last team fight. So they definitely still have a ways to go before they're actually be able to contend again. And as you see here, Stan Marsh is just warding right in front of the jungler, and the whole team following him. They are just at an all-time high right now in confidence, and lots of tauntings and jokes going around. And so it's just a ways to go to come back. And the Enjo is actually engaged and pull in the jungler and Lemons right here, but he's going to continue going, and Lemons is in a difficult position. The ulti comes down, the Stan Marsh goes in, Elastic Slingshot's going to come in, and that is yet another double kill for the Enjo, and they're unrelenting right now.
Well, and really the difference there was blue team followed up. FaZe Clan was almost all there, whereas I Will Bait You was more worried about their individual farm than helping their team members that have gotten caught. A lot of members of FaZe Clan got low on that very deep dive, and if members of I Will Bait You had been there, they may have been able to get some kills back, but because they were too worried about their own play with their own farm, FaZe Clan got a couple more kills, and I Will Bait You didn't.
Yeah, and just looking at the CS count, the Joe and Bob Marley just almost identical CS, and and as far as the other team, Papa Kank and the little Asian dude almost identical CS as well, and a crazy 60 CS lead for both.